Good evening.
Good evening.
I would like to call the budget hearing to order. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
I have a motion by Mr. Hart. A second by Ms. Hall. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? At this time, can we please stand and say the Macomb School District Vision and Mission Statement? Vision?
We produce skills powers to change the world.
Mission?
The mission of the Macomb School District is to become a premier, world-class school system where student success is inevitable and each student is cultivated to become a fierce competitor in a global society.
At this time, we'll have 30 seconds of silence. Thank you. You may be seated. Can I have a motion and a second to adopt the agenda as written?
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions or concerns? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? At this time, we'll have the budget hearing, and I will pass it over to Mr. Vick.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, student board members, Madam President. At this time, we're gonna have our budget here for the upcoming 26-27 school year. Keila Washington will present documents, for each board member, and we discuss, preparation for next year and adoption of the curriculum.
I apologize for this paper. I generally have a PowerPoint and I'm usually ready for this kind of stuff. So, y'all have to
Take one and pass it down. That's the same thing. Pass the same. Oh, it's the same. Yeah, you want to do that? Yeah, do that. Oh. Y'all should be on the same.
all right. So I emailed, so, and I just sent it, so, but I'm still working, it's still a work in progress. For right now, we're trying to get the expenses less than the revenue. But revenue is not a guarantee. And as I normally tell other taxpayers who might be in the audience, that, you know, we don't determine how much the millage rate is. It's something that the county sets. We only put in requests based on what we know to be either factual, what the state has actually given to us. The other one is kind of like it's kind of like a guessing game. You know, you base it on your prior year, and you do your best estimate from there. So what you see in front of you is me trying to get this balance. Like I said, I'm still trying to get the expenses down, but we still don't have everybody in place. So it's still a moving, workable budget. And until we get everybody in place, that's when we'll know what the final numbers kind of look like as far as salaries and fringe benefits are concerned. So right now, like I said, we still got a bunch of moving parts. And until we get more data, because I don't even, matter of fact, the 27 budget for the speds and federal programs, I don't have that yet. So that's still a working part that we're dealing with. Again, this is kind of, if you look at what we expect as far as local sources, most of that generally going to be your ad valorem money.
Ms. Washington, Ms. Morgan has a, question.
That my question, and I appreciate you for making the point of how we don't have an audience. My thing is knowing if there's no one present here, that there's people who may be watching virtually, or they may look at this later, how would they receive what we're going over? How would they receive the documents that we're currently looking at? And I said it in that this is supposed to be a public hearing of our budget. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, generally, most,
Excuse me, Ms. Martin, this is a public hearing. They was invited, it was posted in the newspaper for 2 weeks, so it is public. And they were able to come in person if need be.
How do they receive the documents that I'm looking at? That's what I'm curious about. How do they receive this as we're going over?
okay, generally, if they come in, we will have an extra copy for them.
Okay.
And matter of fact, they still can request a copy. They would like, we will also, once the budget is approved, we will post it in the paper. So they will always have some kind of access if they want.
Okay, thank you.
So Ms. Washington, is it possible we can have a copy of the list and then Ms. Jackson types out anybody want to see them?
Oh, yes, Yes. yes.
Okay, thank you. Go right ahead.
Ms. Hoffman?
Do we have a deadline of when the state and the federal program budget will be in?
I do not know what that is. You would actually have to ask the SPED director and the federal programs director. I know at one point the state had gotten really like behind as far as approving, and sometimes it can run past December, but they usually try to have it in. I would say like October, November, they usually try to have something already approved. But they substantially approved them at this point. But what that amount is, I don't have it right now. So again, like I said, as far as the budget is concerned, that's going to be based on whatever the federal programs people give me, and I can insert those into this budget. But as for right now, and because a lot of things are last minute, that I can't give you as much data as I normally would. And like I said, I always give a PowerPoint presentation so that, one that shows you the status of where the district has come from and to where it is today. So hopefully by next week, I can clear out some things so you still will get that presentation so that you can see, or anybody else who wants to see the state of the district when it comes to the finances. Dr. Burke?
I think, the appropriations will be, they're normally finalized by November for the federal. So in late October, first week in November, we should have finalizations on those.
If y'all don't mind, and I know Ms. Washington, you do not have a mic, we have some people that's on Zoom and on the phone, so we have to speak loudly. So if you don't mind using the mics and speaking loudly, Ms. Washington, because you do not have a mic.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Hartwell.
What is this working now? Okay. Easy. Easy. That's all.
I thought my country was coming down and y'all could really hear me.
Mm.
So I'm usually pretty loud.
Well, I got a message that said we cannot hear.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So generally, I just go down through what the finances as far as what we believe they're going to come in. But like I said, there is no guarantee on any of the money. Even the state has reneged at some point and didn't give us what they actually had promised us. So right now, ad valorem, and it's a bunch of little figures that might be in there, some like heavy trucks and things like that we get from the county. We're predicting right at $8.7 million. And if you look down the state sources, and this is the revenue that the state said that we're going to get is $15.8 million. Also, your like I say, the federal sources is under your special revenue. Again, I'm just projecting based on the little information I do have. And like I said, hopefully that'll run us, it might not be quite 10 million, but it'll be somewhere in that ballpark figure. And that's from all your different sources of revenue, which are Title I, Title II. We have a school improvement grant. We have preschool, and you also have special ed. So, and then a couple other grants and stuff that we work with. So the general 16 section revenue is $32,000 expected this year. I am going to get down deep in there. A lot of times we have revenue that we have not tapped into. When I went and surveyed some of the land, I see we have a lot of property sitting over on Martin that is not being utilized, that the district could actually bring in revenue if we were able to go in and clean those areas up and lease that land out. So that is something I really believe in, because that money, like I say, can come into the district if we're utilizing it properly. So when we get down to the next section, we talk about expenditures. This is just, again, projected, because we still have a lot of moving parts. We got teachers that either may not even be certified at this point, and so we don't know if we'll be paying a long-term sub or if we'll be paying a licensed teacher in that position. And until we know better, then we'll actually modify the budget as needed to make sure that we have enough. And I did try to go ahead and set it based on if a teacher was in the school versus a long-term sub, so that we have enough funding already available to move someone in that position. So I don't expect a lot of construction to continue going on unless something has come up that I'm not aware of at this point. I do know that the board has approved for the 2 buses and SRO vehicle. I do know of grants through USDA that help us pay for certain things. So if I could like pump out versus saying stuff we're gonna pay for, let's see if we can get a partnership with the USDA and let them pay for that 80-20 rule. And it's actually based on what the district actually is, their revenue and, how they see the need basis, and that they will actually come in and pay for the buses or the vehicles that the district might need.
Ms. Washington, if you don't mind, I would like to first right there, do we have any questions before we move forward on anything that we heard thus far?
I have a question.
Yes,
So on the, going back to the certified and the sub, the number that you gave us, is that based off of the number of contracts you have signed already?
Yes, for the most part, those salaries are already included in the system. Only the new people probably are the only ones that are not in, but the system allows us to hold account at places where you don't have to have a person, you just have a salary waiting for someone to fill that position.
Thank you.
Any more questions? Thank you, Ms. Washington. No, I said you can continue.
Oh.
Okay.
Well,
I just don't want us to have to backtrack on questions that we asked on the material that you covered.
okay.
So let's take up, like, the next section and stop and then see if we have any questions.
So, this little 3-page thing basically gives you a snapshot of everything put together. There's a combined one, which is a little bit longer, like 40-some pages. But anyway, it breaks down each by fund. So now, when you look at page 3, and I usually kind of skip to 2 to 3, and what you normally would see is a fund balance as of July 2026. We're still working on that. We have till October 15, which is a drop dead deadline to try to close your books. So therefore, the fund balance is not going to show here. But right now, we do have a fund balance, a positive fund balance. And so once that comes in, you'll see that your ending balance is not going to be the same as you see on this paper. And again, it's because right now I'm trying to get expenses below what our revenue is. That's the goal. So that we will be definitely working in the grant. The other parts that are usually concerning, if you look at your transfer in and out, that's money that, so the district has this big pot of money that the state, they give us, and it's partially for your 11, they fund your 1130, which is your special ed district portion. Then there's 1140 alternative school. And another thing I'm trying to research is why the district does not receive 1145, which is at-risk money. Because most schools that I knew, well, all the ones that I knew, had monies from the state for at-risk. So I need to find out why we're not getting any funding for that. So those things, we have to take the money into the district, and then we have to disseminate it through those different funds. And 2711, there is a district portion of 2711, which is your VOTEC. So you'll see that type of money off inside of that fund as well. So you'll see those indirect costs, they moving in and out. Another thing I did notice is indirect costs when it comes to our federal programs. I've noticed that we didn't have a lot of money sitting there. I'm like, wait a minute. We always want to get our indirect costs, the maximum. Because what happens with the indirect costs, I know people are like, well, what are you doing with it? It goes back into the pot. It just helps the fund balance. A lot of times it defrays the costs of the business office and other departments that have to help out these other federal programs to make them run. So that money needs to go back into the district. And I noticed there was a lot of it just missing on those grant papers. And so if we can go back and modify, some other grants are still open. And if we go back and modify, I will try to see if we can get some indirect costs, because I didn't see any on the line, and we definitely need our portion. So if the state is giving it, we definitely want to take it.
Ms. Martin, so we have a question.
Okay.
Ms. Martin, at that pause, just for my clarification, when we talk about indirect costs for federal programs, can you give us some examples?
Okay, so, and I do not know what this rate is for the students, trying to think if I saw one lately. So the indirect rates are usually like about 17%. I'll say on average, about 17%. And so 17% less, well, you can take up to 17% from a federal program, but you have to subtract off any equipment that you purchased for it. So you get the remaining portion of that 17%, whatever the district's indirect cost rate is. You get 17%, and food service is even higher because it's not restricted. Those are the federal government. Those rates are generally restricted rates, with the exception of the federal program for food service. And food service, I know that rate is usually much higher, and you can get that entire amount, and it goes again back into the district pot in order for the district to. Because I really try to explain the federal program. The federal programs can only pay so much, and if they are putting things back in the district that they can, that's allowable, then it only helps the district, because the district has to bail anybody out that gets in trouble. So I try to think of it that way, and not saying that we're just taking money from the children. No, the money is still getting utilized for the kids. It's just that it's in a different pot, and it's more manageable when you don't have all the restrictions to it.
Why would the district not take it?
If you don't put it in the grant, you can't take it. That's number one. And I don't know why in the past some of it is not in there. Because I saw one with I think about $3.7 million budget, and I saw $30,000 for indirect costs. And I'm like, $30,000? That's all? I'm like, oh, we want our money. And I can say they didn't utilize it for the kids, but that's good. But like I said,
it's a big chunk of money. I mean, why would our federal people not pick that up?
Well, a lot of things have happened in this district alone. So I don't want to say what could have happened. I just know it hadn't happened to the degree I think it should have, because it's very important to get those that indirect costs.
Dr. Burke?
This, I think maybe some of the indirect costs, delayed probably has been not being drawn down.
Well, I didn't see any that wasn't actually drawn. I looked at that, because as a matter of fact, I requested funds yesterday and probably Friday. And, so I know that the indirect cost was gone. It had been, captured back in the program when it first started, I guess. Cause see, we're still dealing with 24, 25, and 26. So those programs, and I look back, the money for indirect costs was taken.
For this district,
Yes.
when?
Now, it was, I've seen it maybe twice, in a 3-year span.
In the last 3 years?
Yeah, because the drawdowns were not there. They were not there. They were there. I've never seen it before like this ever, but we say maybe one draw a year, and that's not good.
And I want
That's
to,
what I was thinking, that's what I was thinking in terms of.
Yeah, drawdown. Yes.
I do want to add, Ms. Washington will be giving a lot more in-depth financial update that our board retreat for the past 7 years, school board, okay? We can kind of get a fuller picture of where we are and what we need to do to move forward. Okay? But she has started doing those drawdowns that we are currently talking about. As of right now, we are somewhere like 1.5 million so plus, for this month.
Yes.
Then we have a question.
Do we have documentation in the truth in the past 7 years?
Well, I will try to get what I can, okay? Because everything is just not readily available. So I'm gonna have to do a little bit more research to try to find all of the information that you might be looking for, because, you know, you might want to know more, especially about, the recent events. So I will get those copies, because I do have that. And you can kind of see what it is and maybe some snapshots of what MCAS looks like.
So I have a question myself, and I'll let Ms. Morgan go first, and she has a question.
My question was speaking along the line of making sure that the public understands what, when we talk about, Mr. Dick, a drawdown, specifically what are we talking about? And I'm saying that in that I may know what it means, but the average person may not.
Yes, ma'am, and I totally understand. So in a nutshell, what we're talking about, we have to expend money before we request it, okay? Like, we have to act sure that we have to spend money on the district side before we can request our federal dollars. So what Ms. Washington is doing now, she's going back looking at all the budget and seeing where we have legally expended money where we can request those federal dollars, be it IBEA, Tower 1, 2, 3, 4, and 7. So that's what she's in the process of doing now. Okay? Do you want to add to that, Ms. Washington?
No, that's the gist of just saying drawdown, meaning we are requesting for our funds to come back to the district.
And who actually does that, the drawdown? Who does it?
It's done in a combination with the finance director as well as the special ed director and federal program director.
Thanks.
And the other part about that is that it has to be, when the drawdowns are done, it has to be, expenditures are done, it has to be made sure that those expenditures are in alignment with what's in the program itself, the grant program itself, the federal program.
Yes, sir. That is correct.
So my question was on that line, because I think, and I don't want us to get in the wetlands with who's responsible about, requesting the money from MDE, which is called the drawdown, right? Because that's where there's the superintendent responsibility. But ultimately, it's the finance, ultimately, because they request the information too, because if you don't draw it down, MDE will send us something as the board and say, hey, those items have not been request or drawdown or that. So, and maybe you can explain that part of the process, because that's where, and again, Ms. Washington is fairly new. She only been here a couple of weeks. And, some of this is a year old. The request that should have happened.
That's more than a year.
I know, but, I mean, just to say that those requests ultimately, and again,
Well, I can say, for certain that I have worked with the federal program director as well as the special ed director. And what we've been trying to do is try to make sure those budgets are getting in line with what MCAS has. And once that is done to our satisfaction, I think going forward it'll be a lot smoother in transitioning, because it should be monthly that the drawdowns happen. And like I said, we do need to document that we're meeting, that we have all agreed of what I'm requesting. So it's been kind of a little topsy-turvy, trying to get us aligned first, so we can get to that point where we're definitely meeting regularly so that we can make that request. And I usually try to work and get mine done by the 5th of the month, and not wait until the 12th or the 13th in order to make that request. So like I said, we just gotta get our ducks all on the road so that we are doing it in a timely manner.
And one of the challenges Ms. Washington is facing right now, school board, you got to understand too, she's going about multiple years, and she's making certain that the money we request, legally, that we can request those funds. So the budget's got to be in line so we can know that the codes are correct, but we are requesting money that we rightfully deserve to request, okay? And so once we get that caught up, going forward, we can request monthly, ongoing.
any more questions? Ms. Washington?
Well, that would kind of conclude what we would be generally discuss in a budget hearing. And like I said, unless it's something else that comes to your mind that you might want to ask about, most people want to know where the money is going and things of that magnitude. And like I said, I did name some things that we do anticipate on purchasing this year alone, to make sure that that kids get to school by providing more transportation for them, and I think air conditioned buses as well. So.
And what day we gonna approve the
Next Monday.
next Monday at 5 o'clock?
On the 20th.
Exactly.
And like I said, school board, this coming Saturday, y'all get immersed in the weed details of our financial situation, including our unit audit, we're trying to get caught up, okay?
Just to recap, those persons of the community who may be interested in this information, they're welcome to visit the central office and request a
Yes.
copy,
That's correct.
which will be available.
Yes.
At this time, if there's no more questions, can I have a motion to adjourn the budget hearing?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Opposed? At this time, I would like to call the July 13th school board meeting to order. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? At this time, we're gonna have the Macomb School District Vision and Mission Statement. And the reason why we're gonna do it again is because it's actually on the agenda. So can we please stand and say a vision and mission statement? Vision,
Power to change the world.
mission,
Mission of Macomb School District is to become a premier, world-class school system where student success is inevitable and each student is cultivated to become a fierce competitor in a global society.
at this time, we have 30 seconds of silence. Thank you, you may be seated. Can I have a motion to adopt the agenda as written?
I second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions or concerns? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? At this time, we have a technology update by Mr. Robert Biggs.
Yes, ma'am. The biggest hurdle we've had in the last month is just making sure registration went off smoothly, the cameras were functioning. We did do a couple of installs on some additional APs that were still from the last purchase we made at the end of last fall. Those were taken care of. We have had some issues with our internet at a couple of schools in the last week due to weather. Those have also been corrected and fixed. So everything we've done, we've been able to address in a very timely manner, making sure our schools weren't down for any period of time. You have any questions y'all would like to ask me this evening?
Any questions for Mr. Biggs?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Martin?
For the registrations that have been done, and we have a percentage of completions of registrations.
I haven't printed my, Mr. Big, were you pulling some? I know there were programs you did, but I haven't pulled the number today, as of today.
Just curious.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so as of right now, Ms. Gordon, we are at 50% complete registration. We have another 25% in the portal where we have a student go in and call those parents and bring in whatever documents need to be brought in and to successfully register those students this week. So if that's completed, by every school, we'll start off Monday with 75% of our students fully registered. Then registration will be back up again on the 22nd for that remaining 25%.
Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Manning.
Yes, ma'am.
Just for a statement, registration will open up again July 22nd.
Correct. That is correct, Madam President.
Can I have a motion and a second to review the minutes?
I move that we review and approve the minutes.
Second motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions or concerns? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? At this time, we'll have the report and presentation of the business of the superintendent.
Thank you, Madam President. The report and presentation of the business of the superintendent. We have first, the claims docket.
Can I have a motion and a second?
Motion.
I second the motion.
I have a motion and a second about the claims docket. Any questions or concerns?
Question.
Dr. Burks?
I just need for clarification on the docket for the launch service for Schmidt. We have I see that we have a docket amount for 2,000, and we also have a number of another docket as well for the same company. I thought that we were it was all being generated under the open purchase order that we approved. So has that changed?
What claim docket are we talking about?
We're talking about claim docket number 848321 for $52,301. Then we have another for $3,750, which is claim docket number 848348.
We on two separate sheets.
Yeah.
We on two separate sheets.
And then it's not really giving any description or location, it's what basically is what I'm concerned with.
Okay, the $3,750, Dr. Drew, that was a landscaping that they did throughout the district, like when we did our front here, in front of the, central office, and throughout the, several schools in the district to just beautify the schools for the upcoming school year.
So to answer that question, Mr. Vick, are you saying that there was a separate service that was not included in the contract?
No, ma'am, that was the remaining dollar that was left of the expiring contract.
Okay.
But we wanted to go ahead and create and make beautification across, the district and possibly with those remaining dollars.
Any more questions about the claims docket? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Next, you have a consent agenda, B, item 1 and 2.
Can I have a motion in a second?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion in a second. Any questions or concern about the claims docket? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Next, you have C, the regular agenda, approval of agreement with MSD and Demetrius Wade.
Can I have a motion in a second?
So moved.
I second the motion.
I have a motion in a second. Any questions or concern? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Number 2, we have second review, McCollum School District restructuring plan.
I move that we approve of the second review of the MSD restructuring plan.
Can I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions or concerns? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? I thought we did. Did we approve the consent agenda? Yes. Huh? Fix us, yes. I'm sorry. So, Ms. Jane, I said the claims docket when I approved this last one, but that's not what I meant. What you did, we was on number 1, approval of the agreement with Demetrius Wells. We have a motion and a second. A motion by Mr. Hart, a second by Ms. Moore. All in favor? Okay.
That's correct.
Okay.
So now we on, regular agenda number 3. Second review, MSD dropout prevention plan.
Can I have a motion and a second?
Second. I'm sorry, motion.
I second the motion.
I have a motion and a second for the dropout prevention plan. Any questions or concerns? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Number 4, approval of revised instructional management plan.
Can I have a motion and a second?
I move that we approve of the revised instructional management plan.
Can I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions or concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Number 5, approval of professional development plan.
Can I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions or concerns?
Question.
Ms. Martin?
This question may be for the superintendent. Throughout this particular document, we're saying, I was trying to find a specific place or a specific page, but we're saying that for the school board, our evidence of whether or not this is being carried out is going to be by way of surveys of the staff, parents, and students. My question for us as a school board is, what times of the year will that be done? And will we have an aggregate of the data that comes with the survey, an aggregation?
Yes, ma'am, Ms. Martin. You know, going forward, I would like for us to have a MOY middle of the year survey, as well as end of the year survey. And yes, you will get an average data of all those surveys, what they are reflecting and what direction we need to go going forward.
So it's mid, you're saying at the mid and the end of the year?
Correct.
Okay, all right. That's what, thanks.
Any more questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Number 6, approval of world literature course.
Can I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions or concerns? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Number 7, approval of alternative school handbook.
Can I have a motion and a second?
Motion.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Any questions or concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Excuse me 1 second, Mr. Dick, before we move forward. Can we reconnect the attorney? It was disconnected.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Continue. Mr. Dick.
Number 7, correct?
No, we don't know anything.
Number 8, approval of agreement with Seeds.
I move that we approve the agreement with C's.
Can I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions or concerns? All in favor? Question. Dr. Burks?
Is this, the platform, is this replacing what we already had in place?
Not entirely, Dr. Britt. We're gonna use a combination of Seeds and Speed Track.
Any more questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Number 9, policy revision approval.
Can I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or concerns?
Question.
Ms. Martin?
For me, I'm wondering, Mr. Dick, is this one of the policies that comes to us from the school board association?
Yes, ma'am. Especially the one dealing with, attendance one from 63% to 66%, count for the full day attendance, Ms. Moore.
Okay, because my question on this particular policy, it speaks to makeup assignments, and that is the 3rd paragraph, makeup assignments. The administrative regulations shall specify that no absence will be excused when it is due to suspension, expulsion, or other disciplinary action. However, to avoid adopting a policy or administrative rule that would ensure a student's failure, the district shall or may adopt a provision that permits or requires suspended students who are not immediately placed in an alternative school program to make up work within specific deadlines. Do we already have that as a part of what we do? And I'm asking that question because I can see why this is a critical part of this policy. You know, so that no student falls behind, and they're using the word failure. It would ensure students failure, and we don't want to do that.
Okay. What I'd like to do, Ms. Martin, is go back and just review all our policies pertaining particularly to that, to make certain that our students have an opportunity to go back and complete the necessary assignment, okay?
Yes, sir.
And come back to the board,
And
okay?
I appreciate it, and I do apologize, because I always try to, when I know that research has to be done on a question, I try to ask it ahead of time. But we were in here last week, we were hurrying to get out to the branding ceremony program. Yep. So I didn't ask that then, but anyway, it was a concern of mine.
Yes, ma'am.
Thanks.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a question, Ms. Khalid. So in this is highlighted work study course to policy IDDF, special education programs. Can you give me, because that's separate, it's actually in the, I guess it's what we call the cover sheet, but it's not highlighted. And again, we get these, our policy now from the MSBA, which is in line with the law, so they are updating our policy 100%. But I didn't see that in the actual policy, but it is on the cover sheet. And maybe that's something that we can get with them about, and we can come back.
Okay.
So, let me add,
That's the word.
in regards to, Ms. Martin's concern, we may need to ask, we need to add how we want to communicate this process to the student and the students. You know, especially with the makeup design, because sometimes that is a confusion, you know, it's by itself.
Yes, sir.
And the attendance change, because that's what, you know, the law changed too, so I think we need to make a special effort so we can communicate it very well.
Yes, sir.
Any more questions about the policy revision? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Number 10, classified personnel recommendation.
Can I have a motion in a second?
So,
Second.
I have a motion in a second. Any questions or concerns? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Wait. So, Mr. Vick, on that particular, item, and I just noticed this, we have a paper that does not have a signature on it. So with that being said, and, I would like to undo that recommendation because that, we can't have a recommendation, we can't have an official document without a signature being approved by the school board.
Yes, ma'am.
Attorney Day.
Yes, ma'am.
So on one of, go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead with your question, Dylan.
My question is, I just noticed that one of the recommendations does not have a signature. So can we approve that without a signature?
One of the recommendations for,
Employee.
it doesn't have an official signature from the recommending administrator?
Yes.
Absolutely, because it's Mr. Vick who makes the final recommendation to the board. So if it's a recommendation that he's making, that's not a problem.
Okay, thank you. Well, we can continue.
You're welcome.
Right. That's what she said. That's okay. So we personnel recommendation.
Yes, ma'am, number 8, personnel recommendation.
I move that we approve the personnel recommendations.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions or concerns? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Next, we have miscellaneous business. Out of this transfer.
Can I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
I second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions or concerns? All in favor? Opposed? At this time, we do not have a need to go into executive session. Can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting in a second?
So moved.
Second.
Second. Third.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you.
Thank y'all. Everyone,
Have a good one. Thank you.
6 o'clock.
Amen.